What's that? Black Friday? Yeah, I know what Black Friday is. That's that movie, isn't it, with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube? No? Ah, okay. Ah. It sounds like you could save a bit of money doing that. Why no one ever talks about that? Hey YouTube, we're back again. Another video for you. Today I'm doing my end of the month DVD Blu update. I was going to do this video yesterday, but I was a bit hungover, to be honest. I probably could have done it yesterday. I wasn't that hungover, but it was sundown. I was a bit lazy, and they do say that you know, alcohol does kill brain cells. So I was kind of worried I'd kind of forget something, you know, forget to say something in the video. So anyway, that's my excuse for not doing it yesterday. Yeah, so we'll get started. First of all, I did make a video. I think my last video would have been I did a big, huge sort of a statue unboxing style video, and I did sort of buy another statue online. I haven't actually unboxed it yet, and I probably won't unbox it. Basically, I don't really feel like unboxing it just yet, and just I don't have much room anyway to display it either, so I might not unbox it just yet. But I've got to thank another YouTuber for this, actually, because they were actually one that sort of pointed me in the right direction for this. That'd be Nikki, Super 60, Super Chick 360. I hope that's right. Jeez, I might have messed that up. Yeah, anyway, so it's the big Transformers Age of Extinction statue. You can't really see it. There's not any real sort of picture there to sort of show what it looks like. Anyway, but I might leave a link perhaps to her video. She did a really great unboxing of it, so if you want to sort of see what's, you know, inside the box, you can just watch her video. But anyway, so big thanks to her again for, you know, I think she left a message on, had like a message on Facebook and read it, and I think it was a really cheap deal too. I think it was only like $30 or something for, I think, from Amazon US, so I couldn't pass that up. And anyway, so I'll leave a link to her video. You can watch that and see how cool it is. So that's the first thing. I thought I might just mention that. Thanks, Nikki. Put that out of the way. This is actually a one which I sort of just bought off eBay, just randomly. It's a bit of a coincidence. This is the first movie, and the third movie is actually playing now, currently at the cinemas. It's just a complete coincidence. Yeah, just sort of saw this cheap. I think it's used on eBay. It's a really cool edition though, so I had to get it, and I did actually quite like the film, and I haven't sort of seen it since I watched it in the cinema. That would be The Hunger Games, the very first movie, which I think came out a few years ago. Does it say when it came out? It was quite a while ago. I hadn't sort of seen it, you know. I did sort of watch it the other day for the second time, you know, sort of since watching it in the cinema. 2012, yeah, I think that's when it came out. I think about 2 years since I watched it. This is actually a really good movie. I actually do quite enjoy these movies. I have sort of watched all three. I just sort of go to the cinema and watch the third one. Yeah, really sort of fun sort of movies. I think a lot of people do give them, you know, a lot of crap because they're supposed to be rip-offs of Battle Royale and whatever. I mean, I can sort of see the similarities, you know, basic sort of premise sort of similarities there, but I think these are pretty much completely different movies. You know, there's a lot more. So this is a bit more sort of political, and a bit more sort of to do with sort of, you know, related, like kind of like reality TV, and how far we sort of go to sort of, you know, for entertainment sort of thing. And this is has a bit more sort of story to it, and more sort of in depth, sort of more sort of more sort of character development, I suppose. I think compared to the, say, the, you know, Battle Royale or whatever. I mean, I think there is a bit of a story with Battle Royale, but it's not really, from what I remember, it's not really that, nothing really sort of, you know, deep and meaningful about it, I don't think, really. Well, as far as I can remember, I haven't sort of watched the movie for quite a while. Anyway, I'm rambling on. But yeah, I actually really quite enjoy these movies. I think they're really good. They're only PG-13, but they're still, you know, still fun movies. And they've got terrible shaky cam in. That's probably the only thing that really does annoy me about these movies. I can't understand. I mean, I have no problem with shaky cam when it's done properly, and can be, you know, can be done properly, and can be, you know, used quite effectively, I think, especially in sort of, you know, action shots when the actors are sort of moving around, you know, quick paced type thing. But I do have a problem when it's two characters standing there, not moving, just talking, and yet you've got this camera that's sort of doing this sort of thing, you know, with these, you know, these characters just sort of standing there. The only thing that's moving is actually their mouth. Like, you don't need to sort of have this shaky cam sort of thing, you know, when it's just two actors standing there. Anyway, but yeah, really good movies. I really do actually quite enjoy these. So that's the Hunger Games. So I sort of watched that one, and then really as soon as I finished it, I went on eBay and ordered the sequel, which I did sort of watch as well. It's actually quite good as well. Let's sort of follow kind of the same sort of storyline, I suppose, for the first movie. Sort of got the, you know, bit of sort of build up to the games, and you know, bit of character development type stuff, and then you get into the games, and you know, a bit of action, you know, kids killing each other, you know, all that fun stuff. This was a good sequel, I thought. So that's that one. Then I did sort of watch the third one the other day, and in the cinema, and I did sort of quite enjoy that overall. But I did sort of find the first probably, I don't know, 40 minutes of it, 40 to 50 minutes of it to be really boring and dull, and I think if I hadn't sort of, you know, paid me to go and see it, or I was just at home flicking through the channels and started watching the movie, I think I would have turned it off, you know, went and did something else, if I've got to be brutally honest. But after that sort of time period, I actually did quite get a bit more into the storyline to it, and I did sort of, you know, did actually quite enjoy it a lot more after that. Just that first little bit part of the movie I just thought was a bit dull, and didn't seem to go anywhere. There wasn't sort of all that much action either to the third movie either, really. Only from the last sort of half of the movie it started to get a bit more exciting. But anyway, it's more a quick review of that. I picked up. I actually had this one for a little while. A bit of a, you know, Disney classic, but I'm pretty sure I would have seen it probably a long time ago, but I can't remember all that much about it. But I did sort of rewatch it, and you know, did quite enjoy it. That'd be The Little Mermaid, which is probably a bit of a little girl's movie, I suppose. This is probably why I can't remember it all. But I'm pretty sure I probably would have watched it at least once when I was growing up. You know, I'm sure, you know, maybe my dad wouldn't have let me watch it. I don't know, because it's a girl's movie. Anyway, yeah, this is, yeah, good sort of, you know, nice movie. The songs weren't too bad. Sometimes I'm not sort of fan of musicals and sort of songs in movies. Sometimes it can be they can make it a bit dull and boring. But yeah, I don't know, not all that much to say about it, I suppose, really. The Little Mermaid. Okay, now onto some classic black and white movies, because I have sort of been getting to them quite a bit recently. It's actually one that, just a random film that I picked up and watched it. It's actually a film that Trepacer did a review of, I think yesterday or the day before, which was just, you know, totally a coincidence, I thought, because it's a bit of a, you know, an old black and white movie that, you know, no one sort of watches black and white movies, do they? Anyway, so this is Witness for the Prosecution, directed by Billy Wilder. And this is a really good movie. I actually really quite enjoyed this one. I thought this was a really great movie. I really enjoyed pretty much the whole running time. It's a very long sort of movie, 116 minutes or something like that. It is actually quite a long movie, but it's yeah, really good though, I thought. A lot of sort of just good sort of characters and good sort of story to it. Might perhaps leave a link perhaps to Travis's video, because he did a really sort of in-depth, you know, overview of the movie and stuff. But that's probably a lot more than I'm probably going to do in my video. So it's probably better to watch his videos. So it's probably better to sort of watch his video if you sort of want to have a bit of a more of a sort of an overview of the movie itself. Essentially, sort of about what's sort of called this sort of guys on trial sort of thing for murdering this old lady. You know, apparently he sort of murdered her, and you know, to get her money sort of thing. That's sort of just, I guess in some ways, the sort of the case, you know, to the, you know, what the sort of the film's about. But it's also sort of about the main sort of the lawyer too. The film perhaps is a bit more about him, I suppose, in sort of some ways. And he's just sort of got out of the hospital. He had a heart attack, and he's sort of been told to sort of take it easy, you know, by his doctors. And he's got a nurse, and she's sort of trying to, you know, trying to get him to sort of stop smoking and drinking, and you know, trying not to, you know, sort of. He's been told not to sort of go back to work for a while till he sort of rests up a little bit, but he sort of wants to get into this case and find out whether this guy actually did sort of kill the old lady. But it's just, yeah, it's a bit hard to perhaps explain, I suppose, why I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was a good story, and some really great sort of got dialogue to it, and very sort of witty and funny, and I did sort of love the end. The end I thought was just really great, and definitely sort of a Alfred Hitchcock style movie, I suppose, in some ways. It's got a bit of a sort of an interesting sort of end to it, and it does sort of end, you know, not the way I think it's going to. It doesn't sort of end the way that you think it's going to end, you know, sort of thing. But yeah, definitely a great movie, and I'll leave, you know, Paul's Trepacer's link below if you want to check that out. So that's Witness for the Prosecution. Next one is actually a Alfred Hitchcock movie. It's actually a movie that I've been looking for such a long time, and I've really wanted to sort of rewatch this movie, because I watched it, I think, once a long time ago, and really enjoyed it, and I've always wanted to sort of rewatch it. And I have sort of looked around trying to find a Blu-ray release of it, because I think it was a Blu-ray release of it. They came out probably in the last year or so, and I think I just end up picking it up just on DVD for I think it's like $4 or $5, I think, or something like that. That's Dial M for Murder, which I think in some ways perhaps is a bit of a one that doesn't necessarily get talked about as much in terms of, you know, Alfred Hitchcock's movies, sort of things. Definitely I think a great example of sort of old movies, I think. This movie is just sort of set back just in one room for pretty much the entire whole movie. I think you've got a few sort of exterior shots and stuff, but they're only probably like a few seconds, and whereas this is pretty much, you know, just set in one room, and the camera does sort of move around the room. It does sort of change angles and stuff, but it's but the majority of the film is just sort of set just in this one room, and it's just sort of, you're just sort of watching the sort of story unfold. And I think it's just sort of about sort of this married couple, and the wife's having an affair with another man, and the husband's, you know, I think the wife doesn't think the husband knows, but he's known for quite a while, and I think he does sort of decide to sort of bump her off and you know, and collect the insurance money, sort of thing. And so he does sort of, you know, come up with this plan, this you know, supposedly sort of perfect murder, you know. And of course it doesn't necessarily, you know, go the way these sort of plans it. But just, yeah, a really great movie, and just a really great example of good storytelling, because you've only got, you know, one room and just a bunch of characters, and the story, that's all you can pretty much rely on. You can't, you know, there's no sort of action scenes or CGI or, you know, things to sort of make it, you know, more exciting. This is pretty much just all story and all acting and all characters, you know. But yeah, just a great movie, I think, and yeah, definitely want to check it. If you've never sort of seen it, yeah, Dial M for Murder. Another black and white one, just a random one. This is the Marx Brothers, not in Casablanca, which is just a random one that I sort of picked up. I used to watch a fair few Marx Brothers movies when I was a lot younger, and I don't think I've ever seen this one before though. I remember watching, you know, the Day of the Races and The Big Store, and I think I did remember quite enjoying those. I actually quite enjoyed this one as well. I think originally I did sort of do a bit of reading up on this movie, and apparently it was originally going to be a bit of a spoof of sort of the, you know, the movie Casablanca, but I think they did sort of end up sort of changing the storyline to it. And I did sort of hear a story that I heard that well, Warner Brothers was going to sue the Marx Brothers for using the word you know, Casablanca in the title of the movie, and I think it was Chico Marx. I think he sort of wrote a letter back to Warner Brothers and said, you know, we're going to sort of countersue you for using the word brothers in your name, because we sort of had brothers first, or something like which is a pretty funny story, I thought. It's pretty much not true though. It's all just made up, and it was only sort of done just to sort of, you know, more advertising for the film sort of thing, to make a bit of a news story around the film, to get a bit more publicity and, you know, get more people sort of watching it. I did also hear that I think the only reason that the film was made was because Chico Marx was pretty much broke and had a lot of gambling debts, and that's pretty much the only reason why they made this film, because he wanted to try and get some more money, sort of thing. So I thought that was a very sort of interesting behind the scenes sort of story. But yeah, it was a fun sort of movie. It's sort of about these Nazis, and they've sort of got this big pile of sort of Nazi treasure sort of thing, and they're trying to keep it safe. And it's sort of there's sort of story in this hotel, and all of the sort of the managers sort of keep dying, and that's when I think Groucho Marx, he becomes the new manager, and we sort of do find out that this, you know, what the reasons are of why the managers are getting killed off, sort of thing. It does sort of, I mean, it's a comedy, and it has a bit of a sort of a rather sort of serious sort of storyline to it as well, which is a bit of a contrast, I think, in it. Some ways it doesn't quite work. You know, you sort of got the Marx Brothers, he's sort of poking fun of the Nazis, and there's a lot of sort of slapstick humour sort of thing, and which kind of, you don't understand why the Nazis just don't get the gun out and shoot the Marx Brothers, you know what I mean? Like, the Nazis just sort of stand there and take it, while the Marx Brothers are sort of making fun of them and, you know, slapping in the face, you know, sort of stuff like that. Anyway, that's probably the only criticism they had, I suppose. I suppose it's only a small criticism, I guess. It's just, it was a bit sort of unbalanced, I guess, and, you know, storyline wise, and yeah. Anyway, but it was a good movie though, and I actually did quite enjoy it. So that's the Marx Brothers, Night in Casablanca. And finally, this is an Australian horror movie, which I think came out. Well, it came out. I actually watched it at the cinema like a month ago, and I've already bought the Blu-ray for it. So I think it might actually been probably made earlier in the year. I think it's only just been sort of released in cinemas in Australia here. This is the Babadook, which a few people have actually reviewed. I think Chris Stuckman did a review of this, and a few other people, and a film that I actually really did quite enjoy. I love watching it in the cinema. It was very great movie to sort of watch in the cinema. Definitely sort of a horror sort of movie. I didn't even know this actually was going to come out, but I got a PM from a very cool YouTuber on here saying that he wanted to do a trade, and when I do a trade for this movie, I'll send him a copy, and he was going to send me, you know, something back. I said, yeah, sure. Relax. So that was Movie Cave Dave, a very cool YouTuber, and definitely a great guy to check out. I'll leave his link below. So yeah, we've done a bit of trade, and he's going to send me something in the post very soon. But I did sort of buy a copy for myself, because I just I saw it online, you know, the advertising for it, and look, it had like very sort of cool packaging with it. So I thought I might get a copy as well. But I'll just show you sort of a picture of the artwork which I sort of saw online. It looks like a very, you know, cool edition, and it looks like it sort of folds out, and does look very cool. But if you actually it's not actually quite as good as I thought it was. It's a bit misleading, that particular picture, I thought. If I can get it out. Yeah. So you've got a slip cover with it. So there's this, you know, there's the front, and there's the back. Then it just sort of folds out. Doesn't sort of fold out, you know, more of a sort of a 4D type thing. It's more of a just only sort of that's it sort of thing, you know. Like I sort of thought, I don't know. I mean, I thought that picture was a bit misleading. I thought it's not actually quite the way it's sort of shown. It's I think they've sort of got like sort of two of these together sort of thing to sort of show, you know, all four sides at the same time, which is not necessarily what it is though. It's only sort of a... Anyway, I thought that was a bit misleading, so I was perhaps a bit disappointed, I suppose. but it's still a very cool edition though, and I suppose I can't complain too much. And yeah, a great movie. I definitely would recommend people check it out. It's not necessarily sort of a blood and guts style horror. It's more of a sort of a psychological type thing, sort of about this mother and son, and the husband sort of died many years ago, and they're both sort of still trying to cope with that, and the mother's sort of well, the son's very sort of a bit hypo, and his mother's having a hard time trying to cope with him, sort of thing, and he's a bit obsessed with monsters and sort of making weapons and stuff to sort of guard against the the evil monsters that have come to attack him, sort of thing. And anyway, so they she's reading him a bedtime story, and he gets to sort of choose. There's the book, and he sort of gets this book off the shelf, and it's the Babadook. So she sort of starts to read the story, and she sort of starts to think this is a bit of a sort of a horrible sort of story, and a bit gruesome. After she sort of reads the book, then these strange things start happening, and this Babadook sort of creature starts to appear, sort of thing, and we're not really quite sure whether the Babadook does actually exist, or it's just more the mother might be going a little bit a bit crazy, perhaps from stress, and trying to do everything by herself, trying to be a single parent, and but yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's definitely a really good movie. I would recommend checking it out. Good stuff. Anyway, so that's my update. Big thanks to Dave for doing the trade, which I'll be getting soon, hopefully. I don't know what it is yet. I did sort of send him a list of a couple of things, and he was going to sort of send me just one of them. I don't know what it is yet, so it's a bit of a surprise for me. And thanks again to Nikki for that Facebook post about the very cool Transformers Age of Extinction statue. Yeah, so thanks to those two people. Great YouTubers, check them out. I'll leave the links below. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you very soon. Bye.